Item number 13, Colonel Rajyavardhan ji.
Madam, with your permission, I rise to lay on the table of the House papers mentioned against my name at serial number 13 of today's revised list of business.
Item number 14, Anand Kumar ji.
With your permission, I beg to lay the papers on the table of the House listed against the name of my colleague Sri Babul Supriyo at serial number 14 in today's revised list of business.
Item number 15, Sri P.P. Chaudhary.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on the table of the House the paper mentioned against my name at serial number 15 of the revised list of business for today.
Report of committee, Sri P. Karunakaran ji.
Respected Madam, I beg to present the 7th report, Hindi and English versions of the Committee on Absence of Members from the Sitting of the House as listed against my name, serial number 16 in today's order paper.
Report of committee, Ganesh Singh ji.
और रोजगार मंत्रालय से संबंधित अन्य पिछड़े वर्गों के लिए कर्मचारी भविष्य निधि संगठन में रोजगार में आरक्षण तथा कल्याण संबंधी उपायों पर अन्य पिछड़े वर्गों के कल्याण संबंधी समिति में दूसरे प्रतिवेदन 16वीं लोकसभा में अंतर्वेश सिफारिशों टिप्पणियों पर सरकार द्वारा की गई कार्रवाई संबंधी छठा प्रतिवेदन हिंदी एवं अंग्रेजी संस्करण प्रस्तुत करता हूँ।
Item number 18, Sri Raman Deka ji.
Madam, I beg to lay on the table a copy of each Hindi and English versions of the following reports of Standing Committee on Home Affairs. 199th report on action taken by government on the recommendations observation contained in the 197th report on demands for grants 2016-17 of Ministry of Home Affairs and 200th report on action taken by government on the recommendation observation contained in the 196th report of demands for grants 2016-17 of Ministry of Donor. Thank you.
Item number 19, Sri Sumedanand Saraswati.
अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं आज की कार्यसूची में क्रम संख्या 19 पर मेरे नाम के सामने सूचीबद्ध विभाग संबंधित मानव संसाधन समिति संबंधी संसदीय स्थायी समिति के 284वें प्रतिवेदन को प्रस्तुत करता हूं।
Item number 20, Arpita Ghosh.
Respected Madam, with your permission, I beg to lay on the table a copy of the 243rd report, Hindi and English versions of the Standing Committee on Transport, Tourism and Culture listed against my name at serial number 20 in today's order paper. Thank you.
Item number 21, statement, Sri Rao Indrajit Singh.
Madam, I rise to make the statement regarding the status of the implementation of the recommendations contained in the 11th report of the Standing Committee on Urban Development on demands for grants 2016-17 pertaining to the Ministry of Urban Development.
Item number 22, Rajen Gohin ji.
Madam, I rise to make a statement on the status of implementation of the recommendations contained in the 10th report of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Railways, 16 Lok Sabha, in pursuance of the Directive 73A of the Honourable Speaker, Lok Sabha issued by Lok Sabha Bulletin Part 2 dated 1st September 2004. The 10th report of the Committee on Pending Projects presented to the Lok Sabha on 25th 11/2016 contained 19 recommendations and action taken notes thereon were furnished to the Committee on 18th 11/2016 in English and on 3/1/2017 in Hindi. A statement showing details of all the recommendations contained in the report and implementation status thereof is enclosed. Since the statement is voluminous, I request that the same may be taken as read.
Yes, thank you. There will be no 0 hour today. Honorable members, the matter under Rule 377 shall be laid on the table. Members, अभी आपका सदस्य बोलेगा ही. प्लीज क्या हो गया इतना?
साहब बोले थे कि भाई ब्लैक मनी में आप क्या स्टेप्स लिए, आप बोलिए मैं एक आधा घंटा बैठ के सुनता हूँ बोले, इसीलिए उस तैयारी के साथ आया था कि आधा घंटे में आप क्या दे रहे हैं मुझे बोलना है, इसीलिए 2-4 पेज है, मैं अगर बोल दूंगा
अभी
तो क्या क्या स्टेप
आप बजट पे अलग से बोल सकते हैं.
कैसा हमने किया था.
Honorable members, the matters under Rule 37. बजट में अलग से ऐसा नहीं होता है. बैठिए बैठिए. नहीं बैठिए बैठिए.
बजट में बोलिए ना.
Matters under Rule 377 shall be laid on the table of the house. बैठिए. ऐसा नहीं होता. Please please.
हम स्वागत करते हैं. हम स्वागत करते हैं.
Nothing will go on record like this. Nothing will go on. बैठिए. ऐसा नहीं होता है. जब चाहे नहीं करते. The matters under Rule 377 shall be laid on the table of the House. Members who have been permitted to raise matters under Rule 377 today and are desirous of laying them may personally hand over text of the matter at the table of the House within 20 minutes. Only those matters shall be treated as laid for which text of the matter has been received at the table within the stipulated time. The rest will be treated as lapse. अब हम जनरल बजट पे चर्चा प्रारंभ करते हैं. वीरप्पा मोइली क्या हो गया? अच्छा, एडजॉर्नमेंट मोशन जो है आप उस पर भी चलो. मेंबर्स आई हैव रिसीव्ड Okay. All the adjournment motions, the matters though important do not warrant interruption of business of the debate. The matters can be raised to other opportunities. I have therefore disallowed all the notices of adjournment motions. Veerappa Moily ji. खूब सारा बैठिए ना. ऐसा नॉट नेसेसरी है. नहीं भी बोलो तो डिसअलाउड है.
मैडम
विषय पर 125 लोगों का विमुद्रीकरण के आधार पर ध्यान हुआ है.
प्लीज प्लीज ये बात कीजिए. वीरप्पा मोइली जी क्या कर रहे हो ये? नो बैठिए. वीरप्पा मोइली जी बोलने नहीं देना चाहते. नथिंग विल गो ऑन रिकॉर्ड. केवल वीरप्पा मोइली जी जो बोलेंगे वही बातें रिकॉर्ड पे जाएगी. इधर उधर की कोई भी बातें नहीं जाएगी. केवल वीरप्पा मोइली जी जो बोलेंगे वो रिकॉर्ड में जाएगा. केवल वीरप्पा मोइली जी की बात रिकॉर्ड पे जाएगी. वीरप्पा मोइली अपना भाषण स्टार्ट करें. वीरप्पा मोइली जी, यू डोंट वांट टू से एनीथिंग, so that I will call another name. If Veerappa Moily ji you don't want to say, I am calling you.
Thank you, madam.
On budget you have to speak.
Yeah,
no?
thank you.
Yes.
Madam Speaker,
Yes.
I am thankful for the opportunity given to me to speak on the budget. I think when the time is ripe for a transformational budget, I am afraid that this budget has turned out to be a timid one, without any willpower, any thrust, and also the vision to take the country forward. I may only recall to the memory of the House that when the economic survey was presented in the first budget, it's clearly laid out that the fundamentals of the economy of the country is very strong, and that kind of economic atmosphere, the first budget of this government was presented. That means to say, we thought that they will not be aggrieved by the legacy question. When the legacy is good, legacy was forward-looking, there was no reason for this government to look back today, after 3 years, and say the legacy is bad. That clearly demonstrates the fact that it is only a political statement. What some of our young friends say, it's a jumla. In fact, there is no vision for the growth in the light of the falling growth backdrop, bank NPAs reaching the highest level, and the Trump factor from US, which has already threatened with the kind of a protectionism, with the kind of total assault on our IT industry. And our own self-made harakiri, which is committed in the economy of this country for the first time, the demonetization. That's why we expected this budget to address some of the serious concerns with regard to the budget. Now the question is before us, officially yes, the Honorable Finance Minister has presented the budget, we are expected to speak on that. Sometimes it looks that there is no synchronization between the various wings of this government. There is no synchronization between the Prime Minister's statement, which is given outside the House, inside the House. No synchronization with regard to the budget presented and also the economic survey which is presented. So, we are in a puzzle to know which one we should address today. Is it the budget, or the PM speech, or the economic survey? The economic survey has really expressed the concerns. They have also given some projections. But when you look to the budget, there is nothing. This doesn't address any concerns of the country. I am not telling you concerns of the opposition. That is why we find here that manufacturing sector is not growing up. Unemployment is just knocking out at our doors, afflicting the economy, society and the country. And public sector investment coming down, not taking off. Private investment is just coming down. And last 3 years, I would rather say even 1 year earlier to their coming, the investment has become stagnant as on today. It is not only declining, more stagnant. With the severe hit with the informal sector and the rural sector took as a consequences of demonetization, the economic loss which the demonetization brought in terms of at least 1% lower GDP growth immediately, and the job losses has not been factored in any of the proposals of the budget which is presented here. And fiscal policy statement just given out of air, not based upon that. In their own, if you can make your own divisions, you feel that, clear the projection of more than 4.5% fiscal deficit, as again 3. I will come back to that with a little more details later. In fact, there is no concretization of the subjects and issues referred to in the economic survey, making thus an empty document, as the budget does not carry it forward. There seems to be a mismatch between the two. I always find this government as a total disconnect. This is a major problem with the government. Implementation of pay commission proposals is also unclear in the speech. More details are sought to be done. Focus on rural and social sector spending and roads, highway are along the expected lines. The need of the hour is to accelerate the economy and to promote consumption, but this budget does not have anything substantial on this. That will not ease out anything. Experts say that the budget 17-18 coming right after demonetization move had raised legitimate hopes for greater allocation legitimate for social sector. In fact, but hardly anything significant has been done, even in sectors like health and education. This is the first time budget speaks of plan and giving up plan and non-plan sector. Classification has been removed, and there should be a rise in the capital spending. It has not been worked out, as if this revolutionary step has not taken up. We support it. Plan and non-plan merger, we do support. But what is the step ahead? Have you synchronized? Even it has not percolated. Guidelines have not gone even to the states, madam. How do they factor their budget with this kind of a new concept? Impression is being made that capital expenditure has been raised substantially. Revenue and capital expenditure data are sensitive to classification, and the budget speech did not mention how they have been classified. Practically, I must tell you, madam, that there is no proper classification at all. So, with this kind of a great change which is taking place, the merger of the plan and plan should have been should have been systematically, scientifically. Overall, it is all clear that how enmeshing, merging the railway budget and discouraging plan and non-plan. These are great steps forward. We are not fundamentally against merger of the railway budget with the general budget. But the question is, these mergers have been enmeshed, confused. Direction is definitely lost. Substantial increase in non-plan expenditure has not been coherently reflected in the budget at a glance. Just go through that, go deeper into that, you get into more problems. So, it is necessary. Budget 2017 should put rest all claims related to fiscal windfall accruing on account of the demonetization exercise. Already admitted. And I think I was just looking at some of the comparative picture of many other countries. And what inspired Prime Minister of our country to resort to it? And ultimately I found in the economic survey itself, not from any other document, that he has borrowed these words: fighting terrorism, fighting black money, all these three words, counterfeit,
fake currency.
I found that, I must tell you, fight corruption, black money and terrorism. Exact word from the Pakistan demonetization order.
Demonetization order.
Yes, exact. You see the economic survey. Fight corruption, it is that Pakistan issued the order not subsequent to us. They issued the order in June 2015. After 2 years, it dawned upon our Prime Minister that Pakistan has taken a right step, let me follow. For the first time in the history of the country, not for a joke, madam, that we are following Pakistan today. Whether right or not, it is for the people to do that. And one more thing I don't understand, madam. This whole my imagination, as the demonetization is also the imagination of the Honorable Prime Minister, emerging out of nothing. It has this idea also emerged out of my mind that in the morning, I think 7th or 8th, 8th
November
of November, 3 chiefs of the defense, they met Prime Minister. Had a very long discussion. Go to the paper. And they explained about the surgical strike. That idea, surgical strike, entered the brain of Prime Minister. And again, I don't know whether they have suggested or he thought about it. In evening announced another surgical strike on the economy of the country. Strike on the common people, that it was against our enemy country. This is against our own people, surgical strike. And people are, No, I am telling out of imagination, because in this a new trend and a new legacy has started that we all coin from our own imagination, as the Prime Minister has laid the precedent on that. So if you can go through that, 22 countries have gone in for demonetization. All the lists are just here. Anyway, I don't want to expand that because it's not worth expanding that argument. It's not worth following Pakistan. And same word, madam, same word, there is no difference. I think his advisors must have given the same word, borrowed from Pakistan. No other country has given those reasons. All other countries have given the reasons of inflation, disruption of the economy, many other things. But Pakistan and India, among all the countries in the world, have given only these three reasons as the reasons for demonetization. And there is no gain for anyone, either for the common man or anyone. Then with regard to the estimates and other things are also concerned, I must tell you, madam, that this budget is very crucial for that ruling party. Because another two budgets, I don't think they can make any innovation or reform or anything. Any reform should have happened here today so that they could have encashed upon it the next 2 years. That has not happened. So this budget is an anticlimax. Anticlimax, and vis-a-vis revenue mobilization and the fiscal conservatism displayed by government in adhering to a stringent fiscal deficit target of 3.2% of the total expenditure is projected to fall from 13.4% of GDP in 2016 to 12.7% of GDP in 2017-18. Even when Economic Survey has hinted out a fall in real investment to 2016-17. The Economic Survey given by their own, only one economist in the entire government is, only one, Arvind Subramanian. He said he cautioned this government against fiscal activism. Cautioned about this. And with all that they adopt to this. And while it is good for PM to have his periodic Man Ki Baat with the citizens, I would suggest that the government should have the periodic Kam Ki Baat, which is totally lacking. Kam Ki Baat, yes, all right. But there should be Kam Ki Baat. No, at least he should tell the government to have the Kam Ki Baat. I don't know that. But he's a person, he's a prophet like Prime Minister. He's not expected to do the Kam Ki Baat. He's expected to do Man Ki Baat. That is what he has been already doing it. So that is why we should be very careful. And demonetization is concerned, I don't want to deal much with that because yesterday also it was discussed. From time to time it has been discussed. But I must tell you there are two arguments on this. One is economic argument that
you should tell we have not done anything. UPA government has not done anything.
आप अपने ही सदस्य को क्यों रोकते?
I will tell you. No, I will tell. I will come to that.
You've done so much that it took you 24 hours to realize what you have done, and Mr. Moily has still not realized that.
Please.
And
Strike at right time, not like you.
I will come back to, I have not come to that subject at all, Jetli ji. I will come to that subject. See, economic argument has fallen through on the demonetization. The moral argument is, that is what he was doing it. Till the other day in UP election and the rest of the election he has done it. But lately, you observe his speech. He has toned down. He has totally toned down. Even I had a copy of the Business Standard, which has very clearly said he has toned down, his party has toned down, but they are not toned down in this house because of that false pride within that. business standard. Yeah, okay. And they have turned down. What happened? What happens to the moral argument? The process has hurt the poorest, such as daily wages, farmers, vendors, the most. The state has been unleashed on the people in the name of protecting our own moral standards. We are told by the government that it will do the best for its citizens, and citizens need not understand the rationale or reasoning. The blame of black money has been put on we the people instead of on institutions or institutional process. So, demonetization is for losers. Actually so. Anyway, by slip of tongue it has come. Maybe so. Demonetization is for losers. This is not told by me. This is told by Steve H. Hanke, American applied economist at the Johns Hopkins University. He said, demonetization is for losers and has been bungled from the start. No one, not even Prime Minister Narendra Modi, knows where India is heading. I'm not telling, because if we say, they say that we are personally attacking. Why should we personally attack you? No, I have not said. You better tell these people who are experts, Nobel laureates, who have been giving such opinions one after another. And that means it is for losers. Do you think that Mr. Modi, Prime Minister, is a loser? Already become a loser after 3 years? Which, he is realizing all his election speeches, you have a trail of his election speech, he will definitely say he is a loser. Note Bandi, some people say that it has become a vote Bandi.
Vote Bandi.
And that is what is the latest trend. The government does not want to answer to the people. They say that we are not entitled to answer. Their goalposts are not articulated. Every category expected to be a patriot. Every category of citizen expected to be a patriot or a criminal. There are only two categories. Either we are all criminals, because people who oppose it are criminals, people who support is patriots. The new definition, I think we'll have to carry a conduct certificate.
False patriots.
My way is always a highway, but if you don't speak on my tone, you are criminal. And you are terrorists, you are black marketeers, and you are back money people and anti-nationals. This, whatever. Unless people have confidence that money deposited in the banks can be freely convertible into cash and vice versa, they will be reluctant to invest. Cash withdrawals curves will further lead to holding. It has helped to holding. It has helped to accumulate black money again with the new notes. That is what I think we should all salute to Indira Ji, who nationalized the banks, taken the banks to the doorsteps of the poorest of the poor. And here is a Prime Minister who has come to take away the banks from the poor.
Yeah, that's right.
And, economic survey itself suggested to you, come out with a policy report. Just a minute. You can have your turn later. And the Prime Minister has already made you to lose the voice. Regaining the voice is, I think, may be very difficult.
Big challenge.
Policy support. Is there any policy support in the budget which is given here? Economy survey acknowledged adversities of demonetization. And they suggested set the remonetization pace faster. Where is the remonetization? Again, some more distortions are taking place. It is again not my statement. Don't mistake me for that it is my statement. No. And in fact, it is a statement of John Maynard Keynes, who is the founder of the economy, macroeconomics in the world. When Lenin of Russia, Soviet Russia, He said to have declared that the best way to destroy the capitalist system was to debauch the currency. He thought like that. By a continuing process of inflation, governments can confiscate secretly, unobserved, an important part of the wealth of their citizens. By this method, they not only confiscate, but they confiscating arbitrarily, and while the process impoverishes many, it actually enriches some. The sight of this arbitrary rearrangement of riches strikes not only at security, but at confidence in the existing distribution of wealth. Those to whom the system brings windfalls beyond their deserts and even beyond their expectations or desires become profiteers, who are the object of the hatred of the bourgeois, whom the inflation has impoverished, not less than of proletariat. As the inflation proceeds and the value of the currency fluctuates widely from month to month, all permanent relations between debtors and creditors, which form the ultimate foundation of capitalism, become so utterly disorderly. Lenin was rightly right, and Modi is also right in this. The famous economist, he said, in the long run we are all dead because of the monetization. The nature of the current demonetization, such as this, it may even kill us in the medium term. Quoting again him, whose ideas fundamentally changed the theory and practice of macroeconomics following post-war World War, the economist quotes him as the disapproving of Lenin's demonetization in Soviet Russia in 1991 thus: there is no subtler, no surer means of overturning the existing basis of society than to debauch the currency. This is debauching the currency. Committing debauchery on the currency or the economy of any country. This is what is done. This is what is said by almost all the economists, including everybody who is concerned about it. Amartya Sen, everyone. I don't want to repeat those names. In fact, there were radical reforms, revolutionary act before you to fight corruption, fight black money. I'll come back on details about the black money. And in fact, UPA 1 and 2, he brought Lokpal Act. What happened to that? You are not interested in implementing it. Money Laundering Act, Direct Tax Code, you have said no. That would have taken away the corruption, harassment, torture from the officials. GST, of course, you have brought back again after having opposed it. Binami Act also we have brought it, 1988. You delayed it because yesterday it was said that Binami Act 1988 was brought in.
He told that we delayed it.
What is delayed? That is why we don't, sometimes people who come to power should have the institutional memory of process of democracy in this country. Yes, they opposed in the standing committee. And again it was redrafted by us, by our government. Not by, because 6 years they were there in power. They did not do anything. But we drafted, when I was law minister, I redrafted the Binami Act. And the committee gave a report, that is the select committee, Yashwant Sinha committee. And by that time, 15th Lok Sabha expired. That is why the bill expired. And now, after 3 years, it was referred to us. I immediately, as a chairman of the Standing Committee on Finance, cleared it. And now you are bringing it. Who has delayed it? Major portion of the delay and onus lies on your government.
Yes.
89 we were not in power. 89 we were not in power.
No.
What is there to discuss?
Finance minister is here. You baitiye.
So,
Finance minister is there. Aap baitiye.
They said,
Suniye.
Madam, I will go ahead. Yes. I know. Nahi aaya. But 6 years you are in power. After 98, 6 years you are in power. 3 years you have been in power. 9 years have been taken by you, and rest of the time you delayed it. If there is onus for the delay, I think you should share it. Own it. You are not accustomed to own it. That kind of a culture is not with you.
Yes.
I can't expect you to do that.
Only slogans.
And in fact, all these radical measures you could have implemented, invoked it. I'll come back to the black money. My leader has also told me, speak about black money. I will come back to that. But in fact, in the Attorney General before the Supreme Court, when the question of demonetization comes, he gave an indication 3-5 lakhs crore had stayed out from banking system. How can it be? Now not even 1 lakh is stayed out. Not even 1 lakh is stayed. Everything has come back. I already said, I have been telling every time that money in circulation cannot constitute a black money. Money in circulation. I don't know who is advising you on all these things. And in fact, there's a fall in the GDP. And in fact, you have made the 2 months' time. Even now, banks have not revised. Yes. 2 months' time, there was no banking transaction. Yes. Except giving money or stashing money or helping holders of the new money and black money. Old currency and you help them, enable them to do that. In fact, K.C. Chakravarti, former deputy governor, he said, predicted that the financial chaos will continue for another 6 months. The unplanned, unprepared move has affected transaction to the extent of 70% of the economy. You are not prepared to. Government is deaf on this. Government, of course, it is not dumb. It is only one problem, infirmity. That they are only deaf. Speaking, there is no problem. And in fact, he said, informal sector accounts for 45% of GDP and nearly 80% of employment has been crippled, disrupted with this present move. Whose advantage you have? Amartya Sen said, despotic action. Who gives a despotic action? What is called for? Called despot or a dictator. I don't call Modi, but your government. That has stuck at the root of the economy based on trust. You have shaken the trust of the people. Why you are not removing restriction? I know very well. Since the people have already lost the trust in the bank, your bank, it has now become your bank, not people's bank. So, having lost that trust, you are afraid that there may be a run on the banks. If the restrictions are removed. And remove the restriction, see the consequences. Hope that should not happen. That is my. So it is a disaster. It has now become a less cash strategy. This should be, the world does not have a cashless economy so far in India. Except in Sweden, madam. Because Swedish democracy itself is different. None other countries in the world, very small country, and they have a different, if we have a democracy like Sweden, yes, that is the only country, no other country. I don't know why. That is why I said they are deaf. In India, 73 crores, our population 133 crores. In India, Bloomberg data shows the share of cash in the volume of consumer transaction is 98%. And cash volume of consumer transaction is 98% in India, this Bloomberg says. And in the US it is 55%. In UK it is 48%. It is 90% in China and 86% in China. Look at this, madam. And you want a cashless economy in this country. When even the most advanced countries
under cashless people
and you would want to make it cashless. All the people should be cashless, moneyless. This is what is required. And in fact, Bimal Jalan said, again, former governor of Reserve Bank of India, when you demonetize a legal tender, there must be a very good reason to do it. War, security threat, these are the two reasons he has given. Maybe I am afraid our defense people, I don't know what advice they have. They must have said, after a surgical strike, there is a threat of war or something like that. They must have wrongly advised. Somebody has advised them.
Yes, Moily ji, your party has 40 minutes.
Yes.
You have already taken
But-
35 minutes.
35
Please.
minutes? I don't know what is that.
Yes.
Only 30 minutes.
More members. Please, please.
Madam,
Try to.
this, what picture they give is not the whole story.
Yes.
That is not the whole story. Madam, there was a summer Olympics in Mexico City. Then two of the John Carlos and Tommy Smiths, Australian, the black people, they got the medals. Two men of color, but people never paid attention to the third man, a white man on the second step of the medal podium. He's from Australia. He also put the human rights badge at that time. All the day, that is why he was actually that Adam. He was really ostracized by his own country. And strict apartheid laws. And to protect against racial discrimination in the USA, they were protesting. And what happened? White man in Australia, he was isolated. And ultimately what happened, once he died, that white man, and without his country honoring him for getting the Olympics award. But only in 2012 did the Australian Parliament approve a motion to formally apologize to Peter Norman and rewrote this. I think one day in this Parliament, there will be an apology from the Parliament for having done this denomination. Just like that Olympic. And this is what, I would like to, I don't want to expand that denomination.
Yes.
After 2012, Parliament apologized. I think, demonetization. And, Madam, I don't want to speak very much on that, but I am telling you the NP, because always say legacy.
Now try to conclude.
31-3. Yes. Another 10 minutes I will take and finish out. 31-3-2014, gross NPA ratio was 4.5% when we left the government. This is your legacy. 15, it came to 4.6. 16, it became 7.8. 16, it came to 9.1%. We have not left any bad legacy. It went on increasing. And ultimately, we don't want to say that much on these banks. But I would like to give few examples on that budget. Ultimately, I will come to the black amount. I am telling you, what is that you are doing? One sector which I handle, petroleum and gas sector. And I see strategic crude oil reserves. It was created absolutely by and commissioned only by us. One in Udupi, another in Mangalore, third in Vizag. And you took 3 years to fill up those caverns. Not utilized at all. That too, particularly at a time when the oil price was very low, you could have made use of it. Then what happened? You want to integrate oil majors. What purpose? Only idea is that 20,000 loss with the GSPS in Gujarat.
Okay.
They just to cover up that one, you want to destroy all the profit-making major oil companies.
Okay.
This is what is being expected. And one more thing I am telling you, madam, that...
Yes. Now conclude, please.
No, I am concluding, madam. Concluding.
Yes, thank you.
And this division and all, America is going for, they have a largest company was ConocoPhillips. And they are dividing it for the marketing and the functional upstream schemes. We are not doing it for that purpose. And for 3 years, NDA has sat on the NELP. NELP was ready. NELP 10 was ready. There is a criminal negligence. No explanation whatsoever has taken place. And we went on importing it because price was low. And landed this country into this self-dependent on the oils outside. All this, you sat on that. Today, Even the cess which you collect, more than 1.5 lakh crores,
Yes.
you just utilize for other purposes, not for the exploration,
Yes.
not for the R&D. This is what I just wanted to show to the finance bill under subsection 2 of section 18 of the Oil Industry Development Act 1974. Meeting any expenditure incurred by the central government, meeting the expenditure any scheme or activity by the central government. No, you are going to divert the entire money on some of these things. On the black money is concerned, madam, it is UPA government, UPA 2, which made investigations on this black money, which is stashed outside, not these people. And in fact, the reality check can be made. And why he has promised? Because there was a report in the white paper that more than 62,000 crores has been stashed outside. That report was brought by us. He just saw that report.
Yes, now please.
Before the election, the Prime Minister saw this report and he picked it up and said this will be distributed without knowing what is the consequence. Look at this. And in fact, notices have gone to the people. The matters are under litigation. Even today, not even a single case of stashing the money has been pursued vigorously or taken up by this present government. Who is to be blamed? Am I to say you are sheltering it?
Yes.
And this is what is done. And in fact, even now, it is for your department to make an investigation. Matter is before he said that only when there was a review petition pending before the Supreme Court of India. Review petition was disposed only when we are about to step down. That is how we could not have appointed them as per the direction of it is a Supreme Court monitored investigation. Nobody could have taken it. And you, just because that's the first cabinet meeting, you took a decision and claimed that we have done it. Because it was all done by us, done by the Supreme Court. You are just thumping, you continue to do that. But what is the reality? Even now you are not continued. You are not prosecuted. You are not brought proper conclusion for all these things.
Yes,
so that is why,
please.
madam, I don't want to prolong much.
Thank you.
But last, I must tell you that whatever is said by the Prime Minister yesterday, it falls to the ground. Either it is a binami, or it is question of black money, and it is for you. Nobody has prevented you from further investigating this matter. And in fact,
please.
I'm concluding, madam. And in fact, I don't know what has happened. Even senior leader like Advani ji,
yes,
till May 2014, till we came to power, you along with Yashwant Sinha vehemently opposed to the concept, opposed to the amnesty scheme. Now all of a sudden they remain quiet. Amnesty scheme. Not one, two amnesty schemes have been brought about. We are supporting it.
Yes.
Let it come. But anyway, madam, these are all some of the things which I must say that our economy has been ruined by this present government in the name of legacy, and another 2 years we don't expect you to improve the country. Investment is concerned.
Thank you.
Just from it has totally disappeared and it has become stagnant, and this government is not interested in building this country. Thank you very much.